Thank you very much. My name is Garet Holcomb. I'm a instructor, citizen, gun owner, advocate, all those things, just like everybody else here. Thank you for the time. First off, I want to challenge the premise of this hearing. Section 152, in addition to what you said, also requires that the Secretary hold 2 public hearings in different regions of the state before reporting on the live fire mandate. That's not a suggestion. The intent is to gather real street-level input from real people in real places, but instead we're sitting in a Teams meeting today. There's no regional outreach, no visits to clubs or instructors. Feels like we're just checking a box, and the state's already ignoring its own law. Even worse than that, this hearing is being held before any proposed curriculum even exists. We can't speak to costs, logistics, or access because we don't even know what's being required. How are we supposed to offer meaningful input on this? And speaking of things that don't exist, where exactly is all this live fire training supposed to happen? Is the state going to be building and staffing public ranges, providing transportation for people who don't drive, paying for ammo and targets? Of course not. The burden is going to fall on private clubs, nonprofits, instructors, and other people with no obligation to serve the state, and often who have no capacity to do so. Some people like to compare this mandate to driver training. It's ridiculous on a constitutional level, but even beside that, it's like the state is saying, we're going to mandate driver testing, but we're not going to build any RMVs. We're not going to hire any testers. We're not going to supply materials. Instead, we're going to tell, Dunkin' Donuts, congratulations, you're in charge of driver training now. You're going to supply the space, the insurance, and your employees are going to administer the tests. And by the way, you can't serve coffee while all this is going on. It's absurd. It's worse than absurd. It's unconstitutional under the 5th and 14th Amendments. But apparently that's the plan. Instructors are going to adapt because, of course they will. The state won't give them a choice. But this is going to raise costs. It's going to create barriers. And really that's the point, isn't it? Pricing people out of a constitutional right seems to be a feature of this, not a bug. But what it really is a poll tax, and that's illegal. Again, Massachusetts has no public shooting ranges. So where exactly is all this supposed to happen? I promise you that Dunkin' Donuts is not going to be hiring live fire in their parking lots. I am the vice president of a small club in Metro West. I'm not speaking on behalf of the club today, but I can tell you that we've gone above and beyond in order to support education. We even built a special 7-yard range on our property for the exclusive use of instructors. We didn't do it so that the state could commandeer our facilities. We did it to support the training without depriving our members of the club and facilities that they are paying for. Most clubs can't do that. We host instructors from across the state, even out of state. Why? Because responsible gun owners already seek out training voluntarily. We don't need the state to threaten us into doing what we're already doing, and layering on costs and mandates just makes the whole thing worse. I'm also a Goal member, but I'm not speaking on behalf of Goal here today. One of their core missions is also education. John Green spends his time traveling the state, holding classes and safety events, not because Massachusetts tells him he has to, but because there's a demand for it. Speaking of driver training, let's be honest. Is anybody on this call, or do you even know anybody who's taken a voluntary advanced driving course beyond what you had to take back in high school? Not for a job or for like a motorcycle license, but just to improve their skills. I think we all know the answer to that. Just take a look around on the highways today. Now ask that same question to the number of gun owners who voluntarily seek out additional training. The difference is night and day. So, like the wise man that I know, that we all probably know, asks the same question. What problem exists here that we're trying to solve? Massachusetts does not have a safety problem. Massachusetts does not have a training problem. The state's own data shows that lawful gun owners here are already the safest in the country. So why are we imposing expensive, complicated mandates that don't address any real risk? So I get it, for the purposes of today, Chapter 135 is already passed. We're not here today to repeal it. We'll be doing that next November. Today's about implementation. If the Commonwealth wants more training, they can do it not by threatening to throw people in jail or by denying their rights. You increase training by incentivizing it. So how do we do that? A few things just right off the top of my head. Let's offer tax credits for people who voluntarily take safety training and advanced training classes. Let's offset the cost of training, ammo, and supplies. Let's provide grants to clubs and associations who volunteer to host classes. Create vouchers for low-income folks and help them with transportation so that they can take classes too. You can partner with colleges and community centers to offer courses. And maybe, just maybe, the state can finally fund the public education campaigns that they were supposed to do back in 2014, and which are now 11 years overdue. We don't need a mandate, but if you want more training, you don't punish responsible people. You remove barriers and you reward effort. And to those folks asking if gun owners already train voluntarily, why would they object to making it mandatory? I say this: choosing to do something is very different from being forced under threat of losing your rights. Voluntary training is responsible and ethical. We all know this. Everybody on this call knows this. State mandates, however, especially state mandates that don't have any kind of system to support them, are turning rights into privileges. It's not about safety, it's about control. Gun owners, clubs, instructors, we're already doing the right things. All the state has to do is make it easier and then get out of the way.